Okay, everyone. So what you're going to do today is practice solving equations a little bit more. For the next few problems, you are going to write them all down on a separate sheet of paper and make sure you show all of your work. If you know what you're doing with the problem, you can fast forward to the answer, but make sure if you don't get the correct answer, you go through and watch this video step by step, because this is only going to help you for your test. So remember, the first step is to always draw your line down your equal sign. I want to isolate my variable, so I need to get x by itself. So the opposite of a minus 13, I would add 13 to both sides. My 13s would cancel because they're opposites, so I'm left with x equals 18 plus 13 is 31. So 31 is my answer. Make sure you circle your final answer. This is the appropriate work you need to show me. Next one, same thing, draw your line down your equal sign. This is another one-stepper because I can only do one operation in order to get b by itself. But you see how you have a plus and negative here? If it were me, so you don't get confused, I would rewrite this problem as negative 50 equals b minus 25, because plus and negative really just means you're subtracting. Now let's start to solve this. To isolate the variable or get b by itself, the opposite of subtracting 25 would be to add 25 to both sides. These cancel. Negative 50 plus 25 is negative 25 equals b. That is your final answer. Next one, same thing. Draw your line down your equal sign. To get b by itself, I have to do the opposite, so I'm going to subtract 4.5 from both sides. Remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So 9.7 minus 4.5 would be 5.2. And I know I'm going a little quick, but remember, you can always pause this video if need be, fast forward, reverse it, whatever you need to do. As always, draw your line down your equal sign. A lot of kids get stuck with this, but remember, you don't see an operation between the negative 6 and the g. It's like they're glued together. So whenever they're glued together, that's really multiplication. The opposite of multiplying by negative 6 is dividing by negative 6. So in this case, g would equal negative 5. Same thing here, draw your line down your equal sign. The opposite of multiplying by 3 would be dividing both sides by 3. So I would have b equals negative 15. Let's give this one a shot. Draw your line down your equal sign. Remember, if you get confused on what to do from here, ignore your coefficient. That is saved to the very end. You have to get rid of the constant that's on the side of your coefficient. So the opposite of subtracting 12 would be adding 12 to both sides. Those cancel, so I'm left with 7x equals 2 plus 12 is 14. And then the opposite of multiplying by 7 would be dividing both sides by 7. So in this case, x would equal 2. Now we're going to start to get into a little bit more difficult. Same thing, draw your line down your equal sign. I see a distributive property, so the first thing I'm going to do is distribute that 4 into only what's inside your parenthesis. And remember, when you distribute, you multiply. So I would have 4b plus 20, because 5 times 4 is 20. Don't forget about your plus 10 equals 50. Now I could combine my like terms right here. My constants. 20 plus 10 gives me 30, so I would have 4b plus 30 equals 50. Now it's just back to your normal problem. To get b by itself, you need to get rid of your constant, which is on the side of your b first. So the opposite of adding 30 would be subtracting 30 from both sides. Those cancel. So I have 4b equals 20. And the opposite of multiplying by 4, I would divide every side by 4. In this case, b equals 5. Let's draw a line down our equal sign. Same thing here. Save whatever is with your variable to the very end. So I need to get rid of this constant. The opposite of adding 10 would be subtracting 10 from both sides. Those cancel, so I'm left with x divided by 6 equals negative 13. And then to get x by itself, since I'm already dividing by 6, the opposite of dividing is multiplying. So I'm going to multiply each side by 6. Technically, you could think that that's one big fraction bar, and since there's the same thing in the numerator and the denominator, they cancel. So I'm left with x equals negative 78. Same thing, draw your line down your equal sign. However, this time I see that I have a fraction. You want to get rid of that fraction. So since my denominator, and there's only one, is a 5, you're going to multiply every single term by 5. So negative 6 times 5 is negative 30, minus 3 times 5 is 15, divided by 5 gives me 3x, and then 10 times 5 is 50. Now it's just like your normal problem. Save your coefficient, or the value with your variable, to the very end. So instead of subtracting 30, I would add 30 to both sides. These cancel, so I'm left with negative 3x equals 80. The opposite of multiplying by negative 3 is dividing both sides by negative 3. So my answer would be 80 over negative 3. Next one. Draw your line down your equal sign. I need to get rid of this 6 first. So the opposite of a positive 6, I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Those cancel. Make sure you bring down your minus sign. Negative 5x equals 15. The opposite of multiplying by negative 5 is dividing both sides by negative 5. Those cancel. So x would equal 15 divided by negative 5 is negative 3. Once again, draw your line down your equal sign. I can combine like terms. So I have a 12b minus 4b. Do you see how I included the operation with it? So 12 minus 4 is 8b. Bring down your plus 6 equals negative 10. Now it's just like your normal problem. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Those cancel, so I'm left with 8b equals negative 16. The opposite of multiplying by 8 would be dividing 8 by both sides. So in this case, b equals negative 2. Alright, moving right along. First thing I would do here is distribute. Remember, when you distribute, you multiply. So I have 5m minus 15. Bring down your plus 2m equals 27. I can combine my like terms. The 5m and the plus 2m would give me 7m. Bring down your minus 15 equals 27. Now it's just like your normal problem. To get m by itself, the first thing is to add 15 to both sides. Remember, you're always doing the opposite operation. Those cancel. So I'm left with 7m equals 27 plus 15 is a 42. I'm going to divide each side by 7. So in this case, m would equal 6. Okay, this time I have two different denominators, a 2 and a 4. If that ever happens, you have to find the common denominator, or usually go with your larger value. So my common denominator out of 2 and 4 is 4. So I'm going to multiply every single term by 4. Draw your line down your equal sign. 7 times 4 is 28. Divided by 2 gives me 14x. Plus 2 times 4 is 8. Equals 1 times 4 is 4. Divided by 4 gives me 1x. Plus 10 times 4 is 40. Oh gosh, you have variables on both sides, which that cannot happen. Remember, I like to get rid of my smaller one. So 1 is smaller than 14. So the opposite of a positive 1, I'm going to subtract 1x from both sides. Those cancel to give me 13x plus 8 equals 40. Then it's just like your normal problem. Subtract 8 from both sides. Those cancel. You'll have 13x equals 32. The opposite of multiplying by 13 is dividing by 13. 13's cancel, so your final answer would be 32 over 13. Alright, here we go. First step is to distribute, and always make sure you draw your line down your equal sign. So I have 6x minus 18 plus 10 equals 4x minus 12. I can combine my like terms, so negative 18 plus 10 would give me 6x minus 8 equals 4x minus 12. Oh gosh, you have variables on both sides. Get rid of your smaller one. 4 is smaller than 6, so the opposite of a positive 4 is subtract 4x from both sides. These cancel, so you're left with 2x minus 8 equals a negative 12. Make sure you bring down that minus sign. Now it's back to your normal problem where I would add 8 to both sides. My 8's cancel, so I have 2x equals negative 12 plus 8 is negative 4. I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and in this case x would equal negative 2. So I hope this helped you a little bit with solving equations. You can always rewatch it, rewind it to certain parts that you need, but all of these examples should help you with your homework assignment today, which will be doing the circled problems in your packet. So if you have any questions, I will be able to help you, and we will go from there. So thank you so much. I hope this helped you understand it a little bit better, and have a great day.